70 to 72. For Saturday, continued quite hot highs into the lower 90s. A slight chance of late storm Sunday, highs 90 to 92. Tired of the pressures of car shopping? Come see what more people are making the short drive to Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Lafayette or online at jacksongm.com. That's Jackson Chevy Buick GMC in Lafayette. And I'm Soar G12 Sheepman here on your Badger 4.
We just started a family and we're already planning for the future. Michael Levy has helped pave the way to keep our financial future on track. He's local, he knows us, and cares about what's important to us. Don't put your future on hold. Call Michael Levy, 779-7755.
Gold, 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 and more gold. And always buy American. At Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, you'll always get better rates than the banks. We'll convert your silver, diamonds, cash into gold, gold, gold. Precious American gold. Certified by the federal government. Buy American. Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds. 499-9162. Call 499-9162. And visit Rick at 5301 Brainerd Road, Chattanooga. Gold, 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 and more gold.
Luca Radio.
Roar into Talladega.
Hello, who am I speaking with?
Gary, you're our winner.
Really?
You'll receive tickets for all 3 races between the Camping World Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and the Monster Energy Cup races.
Holy cow.
In addition, you'll receive a 2-night stay at the Microtel Hotel and restaurant accommodations at 2 area restaurants.
Luca Radio.
Roar into Talladega.
Nuga Radio.
92.7.
Your NASCAR racing station. Nuga Radio 92.7 FM.
Luca Radio. 92.7.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hot one. I'm gonna be outside one day, but it's gonna be a pretty day.
Yeah, last day of Riverbend, and of course everybody's used to the hot temperatures during Riverbend.
Yeah,
you know,
fireworks night.
Yeah, it's fireworks night, and also there's stuff going on over at Findlay today, a all-star game, football game, and a
championship game tonight.
Yeah, and then of course over at Ridgeland High School we got these guys here, the Chattanooga Eagles.
Yeah,
he's not on the field, thankfully.
No, that's always a good thing if I'm not playing or coaching or any of the above.
Right, or as a GM
or anything, really, just whatever. It's just better that I'm just not there. or
maybe they'll win.
You know, I'm hoping so.
Need it.
Still got to just win every. Still got to win out, man. It makes it tough, but you know, you got 3 games left. Short little season to go 3-0 and make the playoffs.
Yeah. So I knew Nick was going to be wearing his Chattanooga Eagles shirt because, I mean, once he leaves here, he's going to just be in Eagle mode the rest of the day. It seems like.
Yeah, 100%.
So I thought, you know, to have some equality in the studio, my Cowboys jersey, shirt.
Well, you know, speaking of the Eagles, did you happen to see their rings that they?
Oh man, were they gorgeous?
Yeah, they've done a solid job.
Designs.
Yeah, they've done a solid job with these, and very impressed with what they were able to do with those rings. It might be one of my favorites I've seen. I shared them yesterday.
Well, the Patriots, I mean, whenever they've won Super Bowls, they've had pretty, I wouldn't say gaudy, but I mean, they're really over the top. But I think the Eagles really,
the fact that on the back of the band, like right here, if you're looking, like on a band of a ring on the bottom, it says "Fly Eagles Fly." I mean, how freaking cool is that? You know, it looks.
And that's
really
always
good.
been their mantra for years, ever since the 70s that I can recall. But
it's their fight song.
Yeah, and we also play it during the broadcast as well.
It's a cool little song, and I'm just so happy for that city to finally get a Super Bowl championship. You know, they've if you talk to anybody up in Philly, most of them will say that that's a Phillies town.
Yeah,
like that.
Oh, it is.
It's all about the Phillies all the time. But
years ago, you would say that it would have been maybe a Flyers town. Yeah.
But people love their Phillies, but the fact that they're having their own issues this year and kind of falling off a little bit, and I mean, they're still young. It makes it a lot easier to know that you have the Eagles, who are probably here to stay for a while, and then also the Sixers, who are probably here to stay for a while.
Right. And the Sixers, probably back in the early to mid 70s, were the cat's meow there in Philly.
Was that when Dr. J was there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, but then that's when the Broad Street Bullies were there too.
Oh, yeah.
With the Flyers. So,
yeah.
Good for Philadelphia to get a ring in another sport. And, I guess they're missing. Is that it? And they got a sports title in all their sports now, I guess. So
yeah.
That's pretty impressive. Atlanta can't say the same thing. They just keep losing their franchises and in anything other than baseball and football.
I don't know if we're ever going to see the Hawks.
No.
They actually had a chance when they had, pardon me, Dominique Wilkins with the team.
Yeah, back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Well, actually, before that.
Mid 80s, early 80s.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he played forever, though.
Right.
I remember even watching him play at the end of his career when I was little.
Yeah. Boy, when was that? No.
Early 90s.
Okay. I'm at the part on the little part. I'm just kidding.
Fair enough.
But World Cup soccer got underway on Thursday. And
the sad part is most of those games are going on during the middle of the day.
Well, yeah.
I haven't got to watch one game.
Yeah.
I haven't wanted to watch one match at all, and hopefully maybe tomorrow I'll be able to catch a couple. But
there's no NASCAR tomorrow, so that probably will give a little bit of an opportunity to watch the round ball.
Right, and U.S. Open's going on. I mean,
is there still such a thing?
Yeah, I mean, the U.S. Open's going on. I mean, it's kind of a busy sports weekend, I guess. I don't know. When you get into June and into July, it's kind of blah in sports because there's just not a lot going on. You got baseball, but to be real, who really cares about baseball in June?
We were talking about this last week, because of the NBA, some kind of loose wire there. It's bugging me. I know it is you. The NHL, the NBA, both ended pretty much within 48 hours of each other. And it's like the only thing left, is Major League Baseball. There's NASCAR, except for this weekend. They're off.
Father's Day.
Yeah. And which you would have thought that they would have been off on Mother's Day. And they were. They raced on a Saturday night. Yeah. But the only other things really going on in the sports world on a national or international scale is the World Cup and the U.S. Open. And, the U.S. Open is like,
Well, the U.S. Open would be a lot better if they'd played at a course that anybody remotely liked. Shinnecock Hills is probably the worst course on that rotation. Nobody can hit that. I did watch a little bit of that yesterday, late yesterday evening, and I was watching poor Ian Poulter. And like I said, I didn't watch it much, but Ian Poulter, he was at like 3 under and then shot a triple. He was in the bunker. He hit it thin. It went well over the green. He was over like in the patrons, and then he hit it from there, and he hit it thick, and it ended up in the high like fescue or whatever they have over there that's like really tall. Couldn't even see the ball, and then he hits it, and he actually made a pretty good shot there, but ended up tripling. And I mean, then you're like out of it. Like, might as well just go home. I mean, Tiger's going home. So
yeah, he couldn't get past.
He didn't make the cut. So
yeah.
I think, and I talked to you a little bit about this off the air. I mean, if you're a golf guy, or if you're high in the PGA, you're not. You have to want Tiger to make the cut at the U.S. Open, because now, I mean, realistically, if you're a casual golf fan, who's watching the U.S. Open the rest of the week?
Right.
Nobody.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just curious to see how good the TV ratings are for.
That'll be awful.
Yeah.
And not to mention the leaderboard. Like, I read through it, and I was like, I don't even know who these people are.
Right.
It'd be different if it was like people like. I mean, I think Ricky's up there a little bit. Ian Poulter was up there. But then you're just like, now who else is there?
Don't forget, you can always chime in and add your 2 cents or a nickel or a dime or whatever at 423-872-1450. 800-8949, 423-800-8949. It's the Breakfast Blitz with this gentleman right here, Nick Leffew. I'm Sam Jordan. Keon will be joining us here in just a few moments. But you can also catch us on Facebook Live. You can interject your comments there. We've got a comment already from Australia.
Australia?
Yes, my son. I don't know how this dog does it, but, because of his job and everything, he gets to travel all over the world.
How's that job?
Left, I think, Wednesday night or Thursday night to go to Australia. He's over there through the weekend, and it's part vacation and part work.
Yeah.
And it was like when he was telling me on Tuesday or Wednesday that he was going over, it's like, well, do you have your passport? He says, yeah, I've had my passport for a long time. He says, yeah, but that's nothing. I can't wait till my next trip that I take overseas. And it's like, okay, where's that? He said in a couple of weeks he's going to Germany and he's going to be hitting all the beer houses.
During the World Cup, nonetheless, like, you want to talk about a great time to be in Germany, where you have one of the international powers in soccer playing right down the road, I guess, respectively, in Russia, trying to win another World Cup, which I think they're in pretty good. I think they would be in pretty good shape.
Well, France right now is leading the different countries right now, but it just got started on Thursday and it'll be going on. But it's like, you know what? I always wish the best for my boys to succeed better than me, and it's like, well, yeah, he's in
Australia, Sam, and you're here.
Yeah, so I made it to the border up at Presque Isle, Maine, and I made it to Niagara Falls, which
did you go into Canada?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I was afraid they wouldn't let me back in the United States.
Well, I mean, that's fair.
They were trying to figure a way to get rid of me, and it's like I was afraid to take that chance that I couldn't get back in.
Australia is one of my bucket list places. Like, I want to go to Australia so bad, and that's pretty cool that he's going to be there. Is that his first trip to Australia?
Yes, first trip.
I'm sure there's a lot to do.
Yeah.
I know Sydney's a great town and all those things. So, that'd be pretty fun. I wish I could go to Australia.
Yeah. I mean, he can fly anywhere that American goes. He works out of Phoenix Sky Harbor International, and he's also a pilot, and works a lot with customer service issues and with charter flights and that sort of thing, and just seeing the world. I mean, he's 30. He's my youngest twin of the two, and the other one's in the Army. And when he's not deployed or anything, him and another guy have a pizza trailer where they make pizzas, strombolis, and all kinds of stuff.
Ooh, strombolis.
Yeah, I know. In Pennsylvania, those are very popular.
Yeah, I can imagine those definitely are. Anything that revolves around Italian food in Pennsylvania is probably
Italian, Dutch, Bavarian. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of German flavor there, but Argentina and Iceland getting ready while we're talking about
about 40 minutes.
Yeah, and in that same vein, CFC here in Chattanooga, they came over with a 2-0 victory over International Football Club on Wednesday, and so they are now 4-0-3 in league play, and 2 points ahead of New Orleans in the Southwest standings. So
if you're not going to win every game, it's important to draw in soccer. And so the fact that you're 4-0-3, you're probably sitting really good in the standings with those points you're able to rack up.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because, I mean, you got 3 points for a win, one for a draw.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's huge. And CFC, I mean, just continuing to do what they do. I mean, they win, man.
Yeah, last year as a amateur club, next year they go professional. And there's a lot of avenues for them to really, improve on their game as far as with quality of play and everything. And I don't think CFC is going to, lose a step at all once they do go pro.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think you see it like I lived in Orlando for a couple of years. I lived there when right in the middle of Orlando City's move to the MLS. So they were in I think the ISL or whatever it was called. where it's the step up, and then you move the step up to the MLS. There was really no hitch in there. I mean, they haven't made the playoffs yet, which, I mean, you could say that that's kind of not success, but the fact that they were able to land a guy like Ricardo Kaká and things like that, a Ballon d'Or winner in the past, and the last guy to actually win that trophy, other than a guy named Ronaldo or Messi. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is.
Speaking of Messi, he's out there warming up right now, so that's going to be a fun game. Although I don't think Iceland really probably stands a chance against Argentina.
I also saw in reports while we're talking soccer, and I realize here in Chattanooga they call it football, but Chattanooga would like to make a play to be a training site because Atlanta and Nashville and I think Chicago
I think, are the 3 cities in the United States
for getting the World Cup here in
2026.
2026. Okay,
so it's not the next World Cup, but the next one,
right?
I think, and I think it'd be huge for Chattanooga to get a training site. That would be unbelievable. But even better for the United States. Look, a guy that loves soccer, and I hated soccer until I moved to Orlando and ended up getting season tickets with Orlando City when they moved to MLS, things like that. I now love that sport, and I would love to see it eventually. I know it's grown. It's the largest growing sport, that and lacrosse in the United States. But the fact that the United States is not in this World Cup is such a blow to morale in soccer in this country. And
but I think it's more politically driven why they're not.
I mean, if Mexico would have just drew instead of won their game, then we would be in the World Cup. But that's neither here nor there. I mean, we tried to keep Mexico out a couple, 4 years ago, and it didn't work. So good for Mexico.
They're playing tomorrow against Germany.
Yeah. Well, good luck. Yeah, that ain't happening. Germany's my team. I went through when I was in college. I took 2 years worth of German, and the thing in college is you're not just learning the language, you're learning the culture and everything like that. And all my professors were German, like they were from Germany.
Yeah.
And so you're able.
Did you learn how to drink properly?
Well, that was like, so we're like, quote unquote, as I'm using air quotes, field trips.
Yeah.
To German bars in Knoxville, which there are a lot, actually.
Really?
Funny enough. And
I know in Nashville there is.
One of the years that I took German was a World Cup year. And so we got together as a class and watched the World Cup at a German bar. And I had my Ozil jersey on and, ready to go.
How about your later Hosen?
No, I didn't have that on. I drew the line. I'm still American. I'll cheer for Deutschland and that's who I'm going to root for. I'm not a fan of Argentina because I don't like Messi. I'm like probably in the very minority of I don't like Messi or Ronaldo. I don't like either one of them.
Okay.
So I'm more of a German guy. I like the big guys who like to run people over. That's I like the Germans.
Yeah, I can see that.
I like the Germans.
Got a question for you.
Oh boy.
Are we going to be away from our confines here next Saturday?
I mean, I'm down to go to do the triathlon. Well, not run it. I'll be there.
Well, we just want to remind you, join Nooga Radio 92.7 FMs. We'll be broadcasting live from the 36th Annual Chattanooga Waterfront Triathlon next Saturday and next Sunday in downtown Chattanooga. Nooga Radio will be broadcasting at the Expo on Saturday, and then on Sunday from throughout the course of the event. So come on out and visit us at this big, huge event. And I will be broadcasting on a bicycle. Everybody's laughing about this.
Sam, first off, my question is, how do you broadcast on a bicycle?
Well, I'll have a headset on that'll be going into my phone to send back to here. I have to have somebody here to run the board.
Probably Russell, right?
Yeah, well, maybe. I'm hoping. I haven't got to talk to him about it yet. But, broadcasting on a bicycle is not that hard. I mean, as long as I I wouldn't even have to have my hands totally on the handles. That's how good I was at riding bikes. I could cruise along without having to use my handles. But probably for the first little while until I get acclimated again, because I haven't rode a bike in a while, I'll probably end up at least having one hand on the handle.
Sam, I just need you to not fall. That's the one thing. You know, I would rather you not eat it at the triathlon.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's great radio. Yeah. It's great radio if you fall down. Right. Just don't break the headset.
Right. Well, it's my headset anyway.
But I mean,
don't break it before the next Eagles.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we need these things, and then we're going and got plans to do some cool remotes in Knoxville during football season. So I kind of need some equipment, and I need you to not break your own equipment.
Okay. Yeah, because the boss is too cheap to buy any.
Well,
especially after the money he's spent here on the new digs here in Eastridge. But
the new digs is nice.
Yeah, I actually was over yesterday delivering mail for the previous radio stations that were in here. I had to go over to Hickory Valley Drive.
And so now you also are a mailman.
Yeah, I'm a mailman as well.
Okay.
I wish I was Carl Malone, but big as he is.
Doesn't deliver on Sunday, though.
No. So I dropped off, the mail that was legitimately and legally theirs and took it over there. And I know some of the guys over there. And the GM comes out of the office there and he's like, "Are you from Nuga Radio?" It's like, "Yeah." And he says he understood that we were in here in their former location. It's like, "Yeah." He says, "I really would love to come over and see what you guys have done to it and everything." And I got the grand tour of their place. I went over there. They have one of those little theaters where you can watch movies. That's built because it was a home theater place.
I mean, what radio station doesn't need a home theater?
And the seats?
Sam, you would never leave. Not like you leave much now. But
do you see how wide it is between the countertops?
Yeah.
That's how wide the seats are in that theater. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Comfy. You could fit two people easy of your size and my size. Hey, we got more coming your way here after the break. It was not intended to be a fat joke. I'm just saying we're wide and bulky sometimes. We've got this was with Nick Leffew and friends. We're going to do more moments.
Traffic, news, and information. Nuga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
Expect some sunshine, hot and humid weather out there through your afternoon. Highs soaring into the lower 90s tonight. Fair, muggy lows only 70 to 72. For Sunday, continued hot and humid. Highs 90 to 92. Could see an isolated afternoon shower or storm. More of the same for Monday. Tired of the pressures and hassles of car shopping? Come see what more people are making the short drive to Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Lafayette or online at jacksongm.com. That's Jackson Chevy Buick GMC in Lafayette. And I'm Sorgene Welsh, Chief Meteorologist at Report.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val. Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nuga Radio 92.7 FM.
Expect lots of sunshine for your Friday. Looking dry for a while, but heating up. Humid too. Highs soaring into the lower 90s tonight. Fair, but muggy. Lows 70 to 72. For Saturday, continued quite hot. Highs into the lower 90s. A slight chance of late storm Sunday. Highs 90 to 92. Tired of the pressures of car shopping? Come see what more people are making the short drive to Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Lafayette or online at jacksongm.com. That's Jackson Chevy Buick GMC in Lafayette. And I'm Sorgene Welsh, Chief Meteorologist at Report.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
I got my business up and running and it's already expanding. I got lucky. Lucky because I found Signal Voice and Data. Signal Voice and Data can incorporate all of my business information sharing and communications seamlessly, keep my costs down, and let me work more productively with endless connectivity no matter where I might be. That's called working smart, not hard. Go to signalvoicetn.com and bring the future of communication to your business today. signalvoicetn.com.
Hey, dude, check this out. Have you ever seen one so big?
Whoa, look at the size of that.
There's a little itty bitty one.
Wow, that's really small.
They have them big, small, and everything in between. You'll always find the biggest variety of knives at the knife shop at Frost Cutlery in Ottawa. We're talking about over 40 brands of knives, including Benchmade, WR Case & Sons, Booker, and all the Frost Cutlery brands. Now, Sam, you've been to the cutlery shop. Isn't it amazing?
Spectacular. The knife shop at Frost Cutlery in Ottawa have knives, swords, kitchen knives, ammo, and reloading supplies, plus survival gear.
It's the knife shop at Frost Cutlery, open 7 days a week. Hey, girls, you're gonna love this. We're going to the knife shop.
Hey, let's not tell them they have ammo and loading supplies.
The knife shop at Frost Cutlery open 7 days a week. You'll always find the biggest variety of knives. You're gonna love the knife shop at Frost Cutlery in Ottawa. The knife shop.
And tell them David Tula sent you.
Do you hear that? That, my friend, is not what you're thinking. That is the new 2018 Indian Chieftain Dark Horse. Yeah, Indian. Indian motorcycle is more than a bike. It's an experience, an American icon. And Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga is the only place you'll find their new 2018 line. Are you ready to ride? Join the club. Go to Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga. Just look for the sign, 153 and Avicola. Indian Motorcycle, the true American original.
Hey, Karen, you need me for that 1 o'clock?
Yes, Chief, please. Karen, did you get the quarterlies done? Yep, they're filed in the cabinet.
Karen, can you describe the initiatives to the new hire?
Oh, sure. Full-bodied, some floral notes, maybe a hint of dark chocolate.
Am I in the right department?
Got wine on the line? Come on at Virgola. Italian wine, oysters, caviar, cheeses, and more. Perfect after work or a romantic date night. Virgola Italian Wine Bar, 608 Georgia Avenue.
Chattanooga Paint and Decorating would like to remind you it's so hot out there. And guess what? Your deck is taking a beating. It's probably starting to show wear. If you're hosting friends for the 4th, get your deck entertainment ready with a fresh coat of stain and protect it from heat, sun, and rain with a quality sealant. If you want to get to work, Chattanooga Paint and Decorating want to help you. For exterior paint, stains, sealants, and supplies, stop by Chattanooga Paint and Decorating today on Hickson Pike across from Valvoline or online at ChattanoogaPaint.com.
Nuga Radio. Are you brain dead? Still voting for pathetic liberals? Take 3 hours with Sean Hannity from 3 to 6.
Nuga Radio.
Then call us in the morning between 9 and 11.
92.7
Nuga Radio.
Well, that's that one.
Your own show.
Always call in 423-800-8949. That's 423-800-8949. And Facebook Live. Let's see. Yeah, well, we were talking about my son being over in Australia, and someone says, "Oh, my bucket list too."
I mean, it's a beautiful place. I really want to go.
Yeah. So you can always chime in on Facebook Live if you'd like, or you can watch us on YouTube. That would be that one there. Yes. And Facebook is there.
Well, now that you figure out which camera's which.
So, we encourage you to call in and participate. If you're on the road, can do it without getting caught. Or
especially in the state of Georgia.
Yes, as of yesterday.
Yeah.
It's like, you definitely have to have hands-free device. I mean, for me, for the most part, yes, I do. I've got my little thing that's hooked into the vent.
I just have Bluetooth in my car and just talk while I'm driving. Doesn't even look like I'm. I mean, if you buy a car now, you're gonna be able to have Bluetooth. I mean,
yeah.
Any car that you buy from what would you say about 2010 on? Probably gonna have
pretty
Bluetooth.
much, yeah. And they're actually changing the way that radios are in cars. A lot of the newer ones are not adding AM into the car radio systems. Now they're still putting FM out there, and that's good. I mean, we've got ourselves covered because we have our own mobile app, we have the website, We have 2 FM frequencies, kinds of mobile tune in and Next Radio and all that. So, yeah, we pretty much have got it covered. One way or another, you can listen to Nooga Radio. And pretty soon, Nick, if you have Alexa or Siri,
I do.
You'll be able to say, hey, Siri, or hey, Alexa, I want to listen to Nooga Radio.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
It's stepping up in the Nooga.
We are. And it's like, we've really been trying to find all the different avenues in order to get Nooga Radio out there to you. So that way, when you're out and about on the road with the team and stuff, it's like you're not here to do your show or whatever. It's like, hey, I can just go to Siri and say, hey, Siri.
That's pretty cool because you're able to do those kind of things. Like I have a Google Home. So like mine would be more like, hey, Google, and and do whatever.
I got that for Christmas, and I still haven't got to hook it up yet.
They're such a cool little toy to have, man. I mean, they're fun to play with.
How many do you have to have of those?
I just have one.
Yeah,
I have a Google Home, and then I have my Chromecast that's hooked up to my TV. So I can be like, hey, Google, play whatever on Netflix, and then it'll play it on my TV.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Oh, they say like those things like record what you say and stuff.
Yeah. But, you were speaking about, the car yesterday while Nick's going through getting all this little entertainment play.
For some reason, like I click on an article on my phone and it just starts playing music. I'm not really sure what's going on there.
But what I was going to say is yesterday I finally had to break down and buy some refrigerant for my air conditioner. It was like 96 degrees. I was up in Hickson visiting some clients, and it was like just hot. And, even though I grew up in Arkansas, I've lived for the last 31, 32 years up in the Northeast. So we're not used to humidity, or at least where I lived at. And it was like, I rolled the window down. It was just pure heat. Rolled it back up. And it was like 100 and something coming out of the vent, even though it had the AC supposedly on.
Yeah.
So I finally pulled into one of those parts stores, and it's like, how much am I going to have to bend over and pay for
Freon?
Yeah. Oh, you can get it for $13 a can if you've got the thing to put it on.
But you don't have the thing to put it on.
I do in my toolbox, which I didn't have in my vehicle.
So I bought one of those too.
So I bought one of those. It was like $43.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. And luckily, it only took one can.
Yeah, but that might last you a week, maybe.
Yeah.
That's Freon.
It definitely made a difference.
No, it will. I mean, that stuff's really awesome. How quickly it's able to work and cool off your air conditioner. But the thing is, if you have a leak or something and you're Freon and you're talking about, you're going to be filling that up so much.
Yeah.
But I just want to see if you can get it fixed.
Yeah. Now, you had vehicle issues as well.
Yeah.
Last Saturday.
A bunch of stupid kids, man. So when we travel, we carpool. We carpool and we leave our cars, and we've left our cars at this place. And I'm not going to say the place because it's not their fault. We leave our cars at this place. We've done it for 3 years, never had an issue. Get back, two of our cars had passenger side windows shot out with BB guns. It didn't even take anything. Like, I mean, if you're going to break into my car and shoot out a window or whatever, at least take something.
Yeah.
Like, hell, take the car. Like, take the car. Instead, I didn't get to really file an insurance claim because it's not worth my time and making my premiums go up because all I got to do is get a window fixed, which is what's happening today. Part of another thing I have going on today is getting my window fixed. And, I mean, it's just, honestly, more than anything, it's just frustrating. It's just really frustrating.
But, the window is, windshield is usually like a couple $100. How much is it for a side window?
For parts and installation and everything, I think it's about $300 is what I'm paying for. But, which, again, not really worth filing an insurance claim for to make my premiums go up when I can just pay for a $300 window. I mean, it is what it is.
I wonder if there's any places like where I lived up in Pennsylvania where watch that.
My microphone attacked me.
Yeah, where I could go to this salvage place and you go do it yourself. Go take the door apart and take the window off and all that.
Now, I had the last car I had some window issues, and I tried to do it myself.
Didn't come out too well.
It ended up being duct tape. So I'm just going to let people who actually know what they're doing do it. And anytime you're dealing with these automatic windows and these motors and these mechanisms that are all in there, I ain't touching it with a 10-foot pole. You couldn't pay me enough to do it. And so I'm just at the point right now where I was just like, just fix it and I'll give you the money. It doesn't even matter. Just fix the car. So I'm not driving with one window down and one window not down. Well, the window's not even down. It's just, the window's not even down. It's just not there because it decides to get shot out. Because I swear that, like, when the cop came and everything, he was like, do you want to press charges? I was like, yes, I want to press charges if you catch these kids, because they have cameras at the place that I was at. I was like, please press charges.
Yeah.
So I wasn't bitter at 3 o'clock in the morning when I got back and had to deal with that.
Yeah. After a long drive back from Macon.
At least we won.
Yes.
If we had lost, then the car, I might have just made the car blow up.
Oh, boy.
Joining us finally in studio is Mr. Keon Rose. It's the straight guy, the fat man, and the token black guy. That's what we came up with.
Is that our squad?
That was me. I called you token. You're from South Park? Yeah. So, I mean, I figured that was endearing. That was a term of endearment.
Okay, I'll take it.
I don't feel bad because I had worked at a convenience store owned by the Indians from across the pond, and I was the only non-Indian that worked there. And people came in and says, "You're not Indian." It's like, no, I'm the token white boy.
You should have just said yes with a straight face.
Yeah. Yes, I am Indian.
I do know some Indian.
To that.
How dare you judge me based on the looks of how?
And your looks, my friend.
How did you know?
Yeah, really.
Well, it's good to see that the show's gone off the rails again this week. So.
Yeah. See what you do, Keon?
Oh no, that's what I'm looking for.
I mean, to be fair, before Keon walked in, we were talking about my window getting shot at.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that the sports world in the middle of June is just absolutely.
So you guys have not talked about Kawhi Leonard then?
We have not yet. I did have that, and there's an interesting article if you want to talk about basketball about was Kobe underappreciated.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Underappreciated?
Okay. Hold on. Before you have to actually read the article.
Okay. I'll read it during the break.
Yeah. So it was an SI article,
right.
And it was actually really interesting. I was reading it last night, and I was like, this is actually pretty interesting to think about as the microphone continues to attack me. It was actually pretty interesting to look at because I don't know how much side by sides you watch of Kobe and Michael Jordan, but a lot of the things they do are exactly the same. And obviously Kobe was not at the Kobe was great, but he wasn't Michael. But everything his step back looked like Michael.
Oh yeah, that the way that he posted up on the block, that's a Michael Jordan move.
The kick out fade away.
Yeah.
I mean, it was unbelievable really to kind of watch the side by sides and kind of went into a rabbit hole of Kobe and Jordan stuff.
Kobe Bryant was overhyped. Over exaggerated.
I mean, really though?
I don't think he was that great.
I mean,
I think Kobe was great, but you have to put it in the proper context. I mean, he was great. The guy was able to win a title on a team in which the next best player was Pau Gasol. And say what you want about Pau Gasol. Pau Gasol ain't a superstar.
Yeah. And not to mention, he tried to win one with an aging Karl Malone and Gary Payton.
And he almost did.
Well, maybe somebody's going to interject in this conversation. Good morning. You're on the Breakfast Blitz with Nick Leffew and friends.
Hey, I'm watching and listening to you guys from Conway, Arkansas.
My hometown.
And, well, there's a statue. It says Sam Jordan. Is that you?
I can hear Chrissy and Summer laughing in the background.
It's next to the whipping post.
It was probably next to a paddling post, especially if you ask the name of Woodrow Cummings in Conway. He was the principal, and I had him all the way through elementary school. Then he got promoted to the middle school. Then he got promoted to junior high, and I lost him when I went to high school. But
Where did you go to?
well, there's elementary, middle school, junior high, and senior high. But Mr. Cummings and his paddles know my rear end very affectionately.
He's on the statue himself, I bet.
Yeah.
I don't even remember everything, but I really am. We're heading to Oklahoma, but do you need me to do anything in Conway? You need me to stop and go Sam Says Hi? Or I know you have.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to do that, but
everything.
Yeah, it's wonderful town. I mean, when I grew up, there was 33,000 people. Now there's over 100. It's awesome.
I'm just amazed at how pretty Arkansas is. Mountains and stuff. I thought it would be.
Well, you haven't even gotten into the mountains yet until you go about 30 miles west on I-40 there, and you head into the Ozarks.
Speaking of I-40 in Arkansas, did you see there was a tour over of Fireball whiskey on I-40? Arkansas was really fast over there. Talk about some alcohol says he heard. Boom.
I can just tell you this. I can tell you something weird that happened while it was still light out. I saw this guy. This is right in Conway. He's right outside of Conway. And I'm driving down, and I see this guy in a field with a donkey. And I'm like, that guy's
got a donkey
standing next to a donkey. Standing on a donkey. What's going on here? And I pulled over. I went up to the farmer, and I knocked on the door. I said, well, there's a guy down in the field. He's hanging next to your donkey. And he goes, he does that all the time.
You even laughed at that, Nick?
It was great. I thought it was great. I like those kind of jokes.
Isn't it nice to know your son has done better than you?
Yes. It almost reminds you of an Amishman up in Pennsylvania, right?
I saw a lot of those times up there.
We're all radio slugs, and your son's in Australia. Oh my God!
By the way, while you're there in Conway,
oh Lord,
tune in to 92.7 FM. That's where I used to work at. 92.7.
Oh, that's okay. Our same frequency. Okay, so they threw you out. All right.
They hired me and fired me 6 times.
You know me. I personally do not like sports. I'm just one of those guys. But I do like to hear interesting conversations about sports and how you guys tear up the players and, money-winning quarterbacks. But I can tell you this. I accidentally, years ago, tuned to the Golf Channel and watched Tiger Woods. This is probably going back 20 years. And my jaw dropped. I actually watched him play. As somebody that doesn't particularly like sports or golf, that man was amazing. Amazing.
There might not have been a more dominating athlete ever than what Tiger Woods was able to do in his heyday at golf. I mean, you just knew he was going to win every time he went out there.
Tiger Woods wearing red on a Sunday is the single scariest image in the mind of anybody.
Miniature golf, and I've seen him hit balls, and he's just an amazing athlete. Just, wow.
Yeah, it's unbelievable what he completely changed the game of golf.
Talk about LeBron James.
I think the LeBron's done for at least a few weeks until he finally decides where he's going to go.
Everybody thinks he's a god,
Well, there's nobody else out there that commands that attention other than LeBron. In basketball.
All right, on that note, I'm going.
Hey, be careful and get back. All right. You did hang up. But I was surprised.
That was a really good point that he made, though, about Tiger.
I thought you meant about the donkey.
Unfortunately, Tiger missed the cut at the U.S. Open.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit.
But not just him, Rory and Jordan Spieth missed it too.
Wow.
Now, to be fair, this is and we talked about this a little bit, and also get your opinion. This is the worst golf course on the U.S. Open rotation.
Shinnecock is terrible.
Hills and stuff. I told Sam I watched about 45 minutes of golf yesterday afternoon when I got off of work, and Ian Poulter was at 3 under, hit the ball into the sand trap, pinned it, it went over the green, and then landed in the fescue crap, and then he hit it, he thicked it, and then it went in the tall grass. He went
poor man.
He went from 3 under to 1 over on 1 hole.
Yeah, no, Shinnecock is terrible, and it was funny because I was listening to one of the golf reporters this week, and he was saying, well, no, they fixed a lot of the stuff. The last time they were at Shinnecock, he was dried out. Yeah, no, Shinnecock is terrible. It's good. Why do they keep having it there? I understand, like, the scores were really high last year, and the U.S. Open is supposed to be difficult, but there's a line between difficult and unwatchable. Unwatchable.
And it was in 2004 too. So I mean, it's not like you're having just some golfers have a bad day. Like, everybody's awful.
Yeah, games are about the stars. When your biggest stars are gone, Rory McIlroy has been there for a month playing. And still missed the cut because that golf course is impossible.
Yeah. Well, and it's like it looks almost like they don't even care for the course, because in some parts it's got really high grass, and in some parts it's it's just it was really.
Well, that's the other thing too, is like on television, it's a hideous course to look at. Like visually, like the Masters is beautiful. Shinnecock just looks bad.
Even those TPC courses, like did you throw TPC sawdust out there?
Yeah,
they're beautiful courses. And then we go to these U.S. Open courses, and it's like, no. Even the better ones, like Oakmont and things like that.
I like Oakmont.
I do too, but it's still, it's no Augusta. It's no TPC Sawgrass.
There's something about great golf courses. They look kind of regal.
It's okay. People talk about the U.S. Open. The U.S. Open, in my opinion, is the least important of the majors, because it is on there. The best golfer never wins. It's whoever makes the fewest mistakes.
Yeah. It doesn't reward you enough for being aggressive, which is what I want to see.
What did you see? Spieth right up on a par 4 on Thursday. Right up.
Still missed the cut. I mean, how is that? Like, you're playing conservatively and you still can't make it
because the greens are god awful.
Yeah.
And it's just
bad.
It's so bad. And then, and we talked about that too. How many people are going to watch now that you talk about Tiger being gone, Rory being gone?
Those are my guys. I'm literally watching.
The only guy I have left is Ricky Fowler.
That's true. I do like Ricky.
And I would like to see him win a major, but
Ricky can't get out of his own head, so it's probably not going to happen. Ricky's going to be one of those guys that, because you know how golfers are, like, you either dominate on the early side of 35 or after 35, but never both. He's going to be after 35. Like, one of these days, he's just going to put it together. And
so Ricky Fowler is like Ricky Bobby of golf.
Yeah, and that's why I like him so much. I love Ricky Fowler. And the fact that he wears orange on Sunday just makes me happy.
Yeah, it's like the blinding orange.
Tennessee orange. It's always like Tennessee orange, too. It's just outstanding.
It's beautiful.
I'm Tennessee?
No. But I guess he just likes orange, which is crazy to me, because if I wasn't a Tennessee fan or alum, I wouldn't.
Well, I don't like the Longhorns. I don't know why that would be the color, but
but that's burnt orange.
Tennessee looks like you look like a bunch of convicts out there.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's why the H is.
Let's not get into Jimmy. I'm glad you did that while you're pushing up against the break, because don't get me started. I can get going, because there's some controversy at the University of Tennessee when it comes to the way they're handling this president's search and this everything. So but we won't get into that. I'll try to stay away from that.
I think they ought to hire Beverly Davenport. We've missed a few and friends. Coming back here after the news. Stick around. This is Saturday. You got a
Traffic, news, and information. Nuga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
You've got lots of sunshine for your Saturday. Mainly dry, hot, hazy, humid through your afternoon highs into the lower 90s. Tonight, fair, muggy lows, only 70 to 72. For Sunday and Monday, continued hot and humid. Could see an isolated afternoon shower, storm highs 90 to 92. For the largest and newest selection of fireworks, check out Exit 1A Fireworks. The Black Cat dealer with great prices at Pop Rocket. Knock your pocket with Exit 1A Fireworks just on 575 Upper Ringgold Road, East Ridge. And I'm Sword D12, shooting the Meteorologist at 4.
Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val. Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM.
Got lots of sunshine for your Friday. Looking dry for a while, but heating up. Humid too high, soaring into the lower 90s tonight. Fair, but muggy low 70 to 72. For Saturday, continued white hot highs into the lower 90s. A slight chance of late storm Sunday, highs 90 to 92. Tired of the pressures of car shopping? Come see what more people are making the short drive to Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Lafayette or online at jacksongm.com. That's Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Lafayette. And I'm Sword D12, Chief Meteorologist at 4.
Hey, Karen, you need me for that 1 o'clock?
Yes, Chief, please. Karen, did you get the quarterlies done? Yep, they're filed in the cabinet.
Karen, can you describe the initiatives to the hire?
Oh, sure. Full-bodied, some floral notes, maybe a hint of dark chocolate.
Am I in the right department?
Got wine on the mind? Come on, at Virgola. Italian wine, oysters, caviar, cheeses, and more. Perfect after work or a romantic date night. Virgola Italian Wine Bar, 608 Georgia Avenue.
Now, Rick wants you to buy my U.S. Gold American coins. Are you tired of making 1% on your investments with the banks? Even 2 or 3% at best? Now, Rick wants you to buy my U.S. Gold American coins.
Rick Davis Gold Diamonds, Brady Road.
Wow, Triumph Spitfire. I haven't seen one of those in ages. Boy, is it gorgeous.
Thanks. It was my grandfather's. Drives like it's green.
Where do you go to keep it up?
River Vermont Pure. I never thought I'd find a place that specializes in older European cars. They get the hard-to-find parts and treat me right every time.
Vermont Pure?
Yeah, they're on Hickson Pike across from Lupton Drive. I found them online at rivermontpureservice.com.
Vermont Pure. Import or domestic. If it rolls, they work it.
Broadcasting live to over 1 million souls in Chattanooga, the Tennessee Valley, and beyond on frequency modulation 92.7. Sean Hannity, 25,000 watts on digital FM 95.3 HD4. CBS Radio News. NASCAR, Bloomberg Markets, David Tulis, streaming strong at NoogaRadio.com. Live on YouTube and Facebook. Nooga Radio, News Talk 92.7. Chatter, Nooga Radio.
Get back there, you dang Yankee! Great Holy Coast, I'm up north! Gotta burn up boots. They catch Yankee soil. Lay down your arms and step forward, Yankee!
What's the handle, Schmeasel?
My orders from General Lee is to hold the Mason-Dixie line, and no Yankee got crossed.
WPLZ HD4 Ottawa, W224AZ Chattanooga.
Serving Chattanooga.
Broadcasting live from the center of the universe, the Tennessee Valley's most listened to news talk station.
Luca Radio 92.7.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Wells Fargo.
I'm Peter King. Does a terminally ill patient have the right to end his or her own life? California Appeals Court says yes. KCBS TV's Susie Saw.
California's so-called right to die law that allows people to end their own lives is back in effect. Now, last month, you may recall, a Riverside County Superior Court judge declared the law unconstitutional, saying lawmakers passed it illegally because they were in a special session on other issues.
Opponents have until July 2nd to appeal. Former Trump campaign chair Paul Manafort is in a Warsaw, Virginia jail after being accused of witness tampering in the money laundering and fraud case against him. CBS's Weijia Chang.
The judge agreed that he could not be trusted to stay at home. Judge Amy Berman Jackson told Manafort's attorney, quote, "This is not middle school. I can't take his cell phone. I have no appetite for this." So instead of waiting for trial at home under house arrest, he will be doing it behind bars.
President Trump blames a Democratic law for the controversial separation of children from parents who crossed the border illegally. Washington Post political columnist Philip Bump says the problem is there is no such law.
It is a policy that was designed, according to Chief of Staff John Kelly and Attorney General Jeff Sessions, as a deterrent. The goal is to scare people away from the border. If you come across the border, we're going to take your children away. That's the intent of it.
In Kansas City, Kansas, a second sheriff's deputy has died after yesterday's shootings by an inmate they were taking to a hearing. CBS's Tony DeCopel.
According to police, shots rang out shortly after 11 a.m. as the prisoner, who has not been identified, was in a gated area. He was being transported from his cell to a hearing across the street. Kelly Bailiff is a spokesperson for the county sheriff.
When they pulled into the parking lot and ready to transport these inmates, they were overcome.
Firefighters are hoping for rain in Durango, Colorado. It's expected as they try to kill the flames that have burned through more than 32,000 acres in 2 weeks. CBS's Omar Villafranca is there.
The 416 wildfire that has charred this rugged landscape is only 20% contained, burning more than 32,000 acres in the last 2 weeks. Firefighters are trying to stay ahead of the flames, digging fire lines and laying hose, in case gusty winds send embers in this direction.
Chicago was the first stop for the Road to Change tour by high school students and recent graduates. Jennifer Hudson sang as part of the rally by students from Florida's Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High, where 17 people were shot and killed Valentine's Day. The students are campaigning for stricter gun laws, and they're registering new voters around the country. This is CBS News.
Brought to you by Wells Fargo, established 1852, reestablished 2018. CBS News Radio, winner of the Edward R. Murrow Award for overall excellence.
What does it take to rebuild trust? At Wells Fargo, we've been thinking about that a lot lately. For us, it begins with a renewed commitment to our customers, fixing what went wrong, making things right, working with more transparency and higher accountability, and reinventing how we serve you. It's a new day at Wells Fargo, but it's a lot like our first day. Wells Fargo, established 1852, reestablished 2018. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
This Father's Day, pro-grade power tools are within Dad's reach and yours at the Home Depot, where right now your choice of select pro-grade Milwaukee Red Lithium tools are only $99 each. Drill drivers, impact drivers, lithium-ion batteries, and more. Want to treat Dad like a pro? Give him power tools pros use. Select Red Lithium power tools from Milwaukee, just $99 each. Only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. See store for details, valid through June 20th.
A Scottish landmark has gone up in flames. More from London and CBS's Larry Miller.
A massive fire ripped through the world-famous Glasgow School of Art, designed by the renowned Scottish architect Charles Rennie Mackintosh and completed in 1909. It was undergoing a $50 million restoration after a smaller fire 4 years ago and was due to reopen next year. Fire Chief Peter Heath.
This building has extensive damage.
A local resident says,
"Everyone's just in shock. It's like iconic."
Larry Miller, CBS News, London.
Police in Mississippi say they've inadvertently found a couple linked to a crime spree in Florida, Arkansas, Iowa, and Illinois. Investigators thought they were responding to a simple car crash, but they got suspicious when the car had no tag. It had been stolen in Arkansas, and then came the alerts for the suspects.
a woman who was hospitalized, and a man who ran but was found later. I'm Peter King, CBS News.
Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val. Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM.
Chattanooga weather. Expect lots of sunshine for your Saturday. Mainly dry, hot, hazy, and humid through your afternoon. Highs into the lower 90s. Tonight, fair, muggy. Lows only 70 to 72. For Sunday and Monday, continued hot and humid. Could see an isolated afternoon shower storm. Highs 90 to 92. For the largest and newest selection of fireworks, check out Exit 1A Fireworks, a Black Hat dealer with great prices. Pop a rocket, not your pocket with Exit 1A Fireworks, just off I-75 on Ringgold Road, East Ridge. And I'm Soaring Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Matt Moore. Nooga Radio 92.7. Nooga Radio 92.7. Chattanooga weather. Expect lots of sunshine for your Friday. Looking dry for a while, but heating up. Humid too. High soaring into the lower 90s tonight. Fair but muggy. Low 70 to 72. For Saturday, continued quite hot. Highs into the lower 90s. A slight chance of late storm Sunday. Highs 90 to 92. Tired of the pressures of car shopping? Come see what more people are making the short drive to Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Lafayette, or online at jacksongm.com. That's Jackson Chevy Buick GMC in Lafayette. And I'm Soaring Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Matt Moore. Nooga Radio 92.7.
We just started a family and we're already planning for the future. Michael Levy has helped pave the way to keep our financial future on track. He's local, he knows us, and cares about what's important to us. Don't put your future on hold. Call Michael Levy, 779-7755.
Gold, 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 and more gold. And always buy American. At Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, you'll always get better rates than the banks. We'll convert your silver, diamonds, cash into gold, gold, gold. Precious American gold. Certified by the federal government. Buy American. Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds. 499-9162. Call 499-9162. And visit Rick at 5301 Brainerd Road, Chattanooga. Gold, 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 and more gold.
Nooga Radio.
Roar into Talladega.
Hello? Who am I speaking with? Eric, you're our winner. Really?
You'll receive tickets for all 3 races between the Camping World Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and the Monster Energy Cup races.
Holy cow.
In addition, you'll receive a 2-night stay at the Microtel Hotel and restaurant accommodations at 2 area restaurants.
Nooga Radio.
Roar into Talladega.
Nooga Radio
92.7.
Your NASCAR racing station. Nooga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
Welcome back to the Breakfast Blitz with Nick Leffew, Sam Jordan, Connor, and Keon Rowe. I'm here. Okay, he's back.
Don't forget, join us next Saturday, downtown Chattanooga, with the 36th annual Chattanooga Water Cut Triathlon. I don't know, Keon, you may get the short end of the straw on this. You may have to be here to run the board.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to miss the bicycle, obviously. You on the bike.
No, that's on Sunday.
Oh, that's on Sunday. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
And the bicycle on Sunday.
Yeah. And so I can still see the bike. That's all that I want. Look, that is my highlight of the weekend.
And if I surprise you and I'm able to stay on the bike and everything, I mean.
He said he's going to try to do it no-handed.
Yeah. I used to.
Wow. Bold prediction.
I mean, when I first get on, I'll probably use both hands. But eventually, it'll be a one-handed operation, then I'll graduate to no hands.
Graduate to no hands.
Yes.
We'll see. Godspeed, Sam.
Well, hey. You know, it's just like when you get on a bike when you're a little kid, you know, once you get the roll of things going, yeah, you shake your head.
Again, remind everyone how long it's been since you've really ridden a bicycle.
Let's see, my twins are now 30, so we'll probably say safely 15, 20 years.
Okay. And so your goal is to slowly graduate yourself from 2 hands to 1 hand to no hands in about 20 years without riding a bicycle.
After about 2 decades of not riding a bike, roughly speaking.
Nick,
yeah, that's our quarterback's coach, Andy Christopher. I'm saying hello. Hey, Andy, I'll give you a shout out.
All right. That's all you get, though.
That's all you get. See you later, dude.
You can always call in at 423-800-8949. 423-800-8949. All right. Falling off too, old man. Okay.
No, he says you're going to fall off. That's funny.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, 423-800-8949. You just got to come down just for that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want some great entertainment while waiting for the triathloners to finish, is that the right word? Triathloners? Triathletes?
I'll give it to you because I don't actually know.
Yeah, something.
We went to school for sports journalism. Neither of us know.
Yeah, isn't that sad? Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. And you can also participate by doing like a lot of people have been doing here so far this morning and chiming in on Facebook Live. You can watch us there as well as on YouTube. This is YouTube. Hi. This is Facebook Live. Hi. We're going to have a little fun here.
Rails falling off of them.
That may happen next Saturday or next Sunday.
Yeah, we'll just fall off a bike, not rails. Hopefully, you're not falling off any rails.
Yeah, well, I thought you said falling off wheels, but
no.
The wheels may fall off after I get on.
That's true. That's very true.
Or bend the wheels, one or the other.
Very true.
So, Keon.
Yes.
Oh boy.
We're not going to talk LeBron.
No. What if we talk Kawhi Leonard?
Okay, go ahead.
Because he wants out of San Antonio. That's what the report.
Who wouldn't want out of San Antonio?
Hey, San Antonio is a great city.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, who wouldn't want out of San Antonio? The list of people who didn't want out of San Antonio only includes David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker. Some of the greatest basketball players. Yeah, it's a very solid,
very good list.
Championship.
That's a winning team all by itself if you could put them all together.
Yeah. So yeah, no, people. If you play in the Spurs organization, you don't just leave that organization. And Kawhi Leonard, in the prime of his career, just wants out of the organization. And I think that this is insane. I think he is insane. And I like Kawhi Leonard. He is one of my favorite players in the league. Yeah. One of the best guys in the league, I think, to watch, especially from a defensive aspect. He makes it actually fun to watch defense because it results in steals pretty much all the time, steals and blocks. But to get out of that organization is insane, is actually insane. He has a list of teams he'd like to go to. The Lakers top the list.
Yeah, of course.
How about Cleveland?
He's from LA. No.
If
you left San Antonio because you didn't think the market was big enough for you, Cleveland is actually the last place you would go. Yeah. Correct. So yeah, no, I think he wants to go to where there's a big market. He wants to be a star. I know he's a quiet guy and he doesn't have that reputation, but people who know Kawhi Leonard like behind closed doors think he's a pretty confident guy, pretty close to cocky guy. He's just not. He just doesn't emote it loudly. Right. But the thing with Kawhi that I think is absolutely insane is he has a list of places he wants to go.
You're blocking his shot here.
Oh, sorry, Keon.
Yeah. Well, okay, there you go. My stylish good looks from all the way across the room, but
the spiked hair and all that. He lost his thought.
He wants I'm good.
Okay.
He wants to go to all these places. He doesn't have a no trade clause, so he has no control over where the Spurs send him.
Yeah.
And if Greg Popovich is feeling particularly petty enough, you can just shovel him into some city. Just send him to Orlando, where he'll never see the playoffs.
Send him to Seattle.
There's no team there.
There you go.
I do think though. I think if you're Kawhi here.
And Pop said he's never trading with the Lakers, so he's not going there.
If you're Kawhi here, well, see, you say that he could get traded to somebody, and then they trade him to the Lakers.
He could, but then
but that's not usual though for that to happen.
Here's the thing: you'd have to. Yeah, usually the trade is set up as a three-way deal in the first place. You know what I mean? But where I think it gets to be a little bit crazy is Greg Popovich is in a really good position because we all believe that Kawhi Leonard is a great player. Usually, when a player forces a trade, they're in a position where their contract is about to be up and you don't want to touch that, but that's not true about Kawhi. Or the player has suffered a lot of injuries, and I think that when people believe that Kawhi is healthy, they think he'll be fine. So the Spurs have a guy with great value, so sure, he wants out, but you could rake some team over the coals for all of their picks, a la Danny Ainge and the Boston Celtics, and you could come away with just a
go ahead, I'm sorry.
ton of picks.
You're rude.
I know.
It's your own show.
To be, I know. To be fair to Kawhi, though, do you think he has any of his concerns about the way they treated his quad injury are fair or no?
I mean, here's the thing. Tony Parker had a similar injury the year before.
Yeah.
He was just fine, and Tony Parker is old. So, like...
Yeah, I remember Tony Parker. So he must be old.
I mean, so if you look at that, it's like maybe he does have a legitimate concern there. But, I mean, if your coach comes to you and says, hey, what's wrong, and can we work this out, and is there anything we can do? And you're basically like, no, I want out, and here's my list of teams that I'd like to go to. I think you have gone a touch too far. There are ways that you can work that out. Maybe the team can allow you to use your own personal training staff, which you ended up doing anyway.
Yeah.
So there are ways that you can work that out if you legitimately want to stay and if you don't trust the training staff. There's no reason for everything to break down the way that it did.
I don't think it's all just training staff. I don't think he likes Pop.
I don't think he likes Pop. Greg Popovich is a guy that he believes that you discipline your best player the harshest. And one of the things that Pop has always said that he appreciated about Tim Duncan was Tim Duncan would make the smallest mistake. Like, it really wouldn't be that big of a deal. And he'd rip into Tim, which lets everybody else on the team know if Tim can't get away with stuff, we definitely can't get away with stuff. Like, I'm DeJounte Murray. I know I'm not getting away with anything. It's that. And I think Kawhi just doesn't like that. And and his uncle is supposed to be a big influence in his life, and his uncle's telling him, you've got to go to a big city. You've got to go to LA. Well, Kawhi's from LA, so it makes sense.
We've talked about that on your show before. Sometimes involving family in these decisions.
Sometimes it doesn't work.
I would say about 75% of the time it's a terrible idea. And
just look at LeVar Ball.
He's one example.
And why, if you're Kawhi Leonard, are you listening to your uncle? Make a decision for yourself. You can listen to these people, take what they have to say, but for the love of God, make your own decision.
Right.
And I don't think Kawhi's thinking about what's best for his career right now. I think he's just.
I think his uncle's off.
Well, I think he's going to regret any decision he makes to leave San Antonio, because they are going to dump him somewhere where he's just going to fall into obscurity and not matter.
Okay, so that would be either Orlando, Atlanta, or maybe Utah.
No, Utah's pretty good right now.
Yeah, Utah's actually good.
You got a good young nucleus with Donovan Mitchell.
Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, and who else is? Who am I missing? Oh, Joe Ingles.
Well, I mean, if they had Kawhi Leonard, then that would be really impressive.
That would be very impressive.
Minnesota, then.
They got a good young core too. With that.
Minnesota has Karl Anthony Towns. They have Jimmy Butler. Tom Thibodeau's their coach.
Good coach.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
coach. So much for that.
Both of those teams made the playoffs.
I would say the Nets would be a
Toronto, but Toronto was the #1 seed in the playoffs. I mean, they got crushed by LeBron because they don't know how to beat him. Every time they see him,
talk about a mental block.
Right. I mean, they fall apart at the first sight of LeBron James. But that's a good basketball team. So Toronto wouldn't be the city you'd dump him in either if you really wanted him to suffer. Like Orlando, Cleveland. Like you said, Atlanta.
Yeah.
Brooklyn.
It's too bad Atlanta doesn't have a good basketball team. No, seriously. Like I said to Nick earlier, I mean, I can remember the days of the Hawks with Dominique Wilkins.
Yeah.
I mean, just commanding the presence on the floor. I mean, if they could find a big man like that again, and give him that support that he needs.
They need a legitimate star. Right. The issue that I have with the Atlanta Hawks is that since I have lived in this area and I've watched a lot of Hawks games, the Hawks have had way too many almost stars. Not any actual stars.
And then go to another team.
Josh Smith, Al Horford.
Al Horford goes and freaking leads the Celtics to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, and even then, he was averaging like 15 points a game. Like he's giving you a lot, and he's giving you all the rebounds and all the intangible hustle plays. But he's an almost star.
He's not a superstar by any stretch of the means.
I mean, he was more of a star when he was in college than what he is in the NBA.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I hated him so much when he played at Florida. Joakim Noah. God, he was so ugly. Joakim Noah.
Was.
He still is.
Yeah, it's changed.
Yeah.
He's still ugly. Like, you don't talk about somebody who got beat with an ugly stick. Joakim Noah. My
I'm not shedding any tears over Joakim Noah. His dad is a.
Well, here is what really gets me.
I don't know. His face is just
the hair is actually like the saving grace of that guy.
His face is just
don't hold back. I mean, tell it like it is.
Look,
we're never going to meet the guy.
Not only am I going to
meet his knees are bad now. Yeah, I can outrun him.
Yeah, I just outrun him with kicking in the knee, and then we're golden. Look, I'm not ever going to give any Florida players credit. So, except there's only one that I'll ever give credit, and it's Tim Tebow, just because I like him as a human being.
I don't get why no one wants to really sign this guy. I mean,
he's not good at football. I mean, he can't throw the ball, Sam. I mean, he could do those great things in college because he was an athlete, and he could do it. But in the NFL,
you're an athlete,
he can't do it,
and you've got a bunch of wide receivers on your team. They're all wide open when you throw it to them anyway. But the way he winds up the ball, it takes 13 years for him to throw it. You can't do that in the NFL. There isn't a coverage you can beat, even if you mentally figure it out.
Which I think he does. I think he understands the game of football very well. I mean, you listen to him on the SEC Network, and I absolutely love him there. I think he's done a great job with them.
I think stay in broadcast.
Yeah, agreed.
He's good at it.
Him, Marcus Spears, Greg McElroy, Paul Feinbaum, Joe Tessitore when he was there. Now, obviously, Tess has moved on to bigger and better things doing Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you don't know a lot about Joe Tessitore, from what you had, and look, the Monday Night Crew was just fine last year, but what you had last year at play-by-play to what you have now, no disrespect to Sean McDonough, none whatsoever, but he's past his prime, and Joe Tessitore is right in his, and you're about to get one of the best football play-by-play guys to do Monday Night Football.
Night and day.
And it's going to be unbelievable, and not to mention the fact that you're going to have a guy like Jason Witten in the booth too. So it's going to be unbelievable. I'm so excited for Monday Night Football. I know we completely shifted gears, but
yeah,
gosh, that's going to be great.
Yeah, I just I look forward to football coming. I mean, I'm not trying to say against spring football like the Eagles, but I mean watching college football, high school football, and the NFL stuff.
It's the best time of the year. Once September rolls around and everything started, I think we're sitting at about 75 days or so until college football kicks off. I mean, we're right there. Kids are starting to report to class for these little summer mini misters, and they're hitting the workouts hard. And you're going to see probably in the next, I guess, a month and a half, they're going to hit fall camp. And a lot of things are going on in college football too. Speaking of, with the red shirt rule that just came across, and I was talking to Keon a little bit about it in the break. It's pretty unbelievable how drastic of a change they've made. So the red shirt rule used to be that there was a certain percentage of plays that you could play in a season, very small percent. Like I don't even think you could play a full game. And you would lose your red shirt if you played. Now, Butch Jones butchered this two times with Josh Dobbs and took his red shirt away. Now, these guys can play 4 games, so a third of the season, regular season, and still keep their red shirt. And so, to me, that's huge because that means these kids are probably going to be we're going to be less inclined to transfer when they're not getting playing time their redshirt year, because teams like Alabama, where they don't reload, or they don't have to go rebuild, they just restock with players. Right. They do it because they're able to. Almost everybody that comes in gets to redshirt. Well, now those guys that Nick Saban redshirts, and a lot of them who transfer because they ain't getting playing time, now they're not going to go anywhere because they're going to get to play 4 games their freshman year. So. I think it's huge for college football. I think you're going to be able to. The development that you're going to see is going to be a lot better.
Iceland
just drew even with Argentina at 1-1. But it's going to be interesting to see, and I think it's going to be great for a team like Tennessee this year, where you're going to have all these young guys that you want a red shirt, but now you're going to be able to be pick and choose your games that you're going to be able to play these guys in, give them some experience. And be able to have them ready to play next year. Tennessee, I thought, did a really good job of getting a mixture of really young players in this class, and then they added 3 graduate transfers, the most recently this week from Alabama.
Right.
What's his name? Brandon
Kennedy.
Brandon Kennedy from Alabama. Thank you, offensive lineman. Who will be very clear, will start. Correct. At Tennessee, he will start. So Tennessee added those seniors with him, Keller Christ, and that running back from Michigan State. Oh, what's his name? I have it. Hold, please. He's a really cool name too, and I can't think of it.
Well, here's the question while you're looking that up.
Andre London.
Okay.
Running back, Michigan State.
Do you think that it's going to be a new source of trying to find available players by going to the graduate transfer type of thing instead of necessarily the JUCO? Do you know where I'm going with that?
Yeah, I do. I think, especially with the SEC completely deciding to just say, hey, you can't block kids from going inside the conference if they've already graduated. Which Nick Saban is notorious for doing because he is a petty, petty little man and refuses to let anybody else, let the kids succeed. Which for Nick Saban, it's more about his pettiness than wanting these kids to succeed. You're in coaching for these kids, and he's not. He's in it for Nick Saban's ego.
How much bigger can that ego get?
I don't know. You'll talk about a Napoleon syndrome.
It can fit into buildings. Let's put it that way.
Talk about somebody who owns a town. God, I need him to retire. I need him just to leave and never come back. Anyway,
the half our Alabama fan audience just tuned out.
Yeah, well.
You mean they have fans? Okay.
They do, actually.
Well, they've gained a lot more since Nick Saban's been the coach.
That's true.
So anyway.
But at least it's been a long time since Bear Bryant.
Yeah, that's very true. I'm excited to see what this new redshirt rule is going to do, though, because I really think you're going to see kids, more than teams benefit. I think you're going to see individual kids benefit from this because they're going to be able to get into real-time gameplay and not just be scout team for a whole year.
Yeah, which is about time the rules benefited the kids anyway. That's the
thing. They never have.
They never have before, and you're starting to see that shift now. A little bit of it is because kids are transferring anyway. Like you lose the year of eligibility, and kids are still willing to transfer. And we've seen, I've read it on a number of websites where a lot of college football analysts think that the NCAA has a transfer problem. And rather than punishing people for transferring, if you incentivize them to stay, I think that works better for both parties involved. And I don't see any downside here.
It really does. I think these kids, these coaches can be free agents all the time. The kids, I'm not going to say they should just be able to go wherever they want after every year, like transfer every year.
Right. That gets to be a little too much.
I think you give each kid one transfer and give them that chance after their freshman year. They can go wherever they want or after their sophomore, whenever they want to do it, but they get that one chance to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Then let them do it.
All right. We've got more coming your way here after the break. The Breakfast Blitz with this guy here. I'm Sam Jordan. We've got more for you coming up. The last segment coming up. Stick around to New Radio 92.7.
Traffic, news, and information. New Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
Expect some sunshine, hot and humid weather out there through your afternoon. High soaring into the lower 90s tonight. Fair, muggy, lows only 70 to 72. For Sunday, continued hot and humid, highs 90 to 92. Could see an isolated afternoon shower or storm. More of the same for Monday. Tired of the pressures and hassles of car shopping? Come see what more people are making the short drive to Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Lafayette or online at jacksongm.com. That's Jackson Chevy Buick GMC in Lafayette. And I'm Sworn Gene Welsh, meteorologist Master 4.
Chattanooga Radio 92.7.
Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val. Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nooga Radio 92.7 FM.
Chattanooga weather. We've had lots of sunshine for your Friday. Looking dry for a while, but heating up. Humid too. High soaring into the lower 90s tonight. Fair but muggy. Lows 70 to 72. For Saturday, continued quite hot. Highs into the lower 90s. A slight chance of late storm Sunday. Highs 90 to 92. Tired of the pressures of car shopping? Come see what more people are making the short drive to Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Lafayette or online at jacksongm.com. That's Jackson Chevy Buick GMC in Lafayette. And I'm Sorgene, 12 Chief Meteorologist at Report.
Radio 92.7. I got my business up and running, and it's already expanding. I got lucky. Lucky because I found Signal Voice and Data. Signal Voice and Data can incorporate all of my business information sharing and communications seamlessly, keep my costs down, and let me work more productively with endless connectivity no matter where I might be. That's called working smart, not hard. Go to signalvoicetn.com and bring the future of communication to your business today. signalvoicetn.com.
Man, you sure you know what you're doing?
Yeah, I worked with my dad on his truck all the time. Just one more bolt to go.
Yeah, wrong bolt. Today's truck ain't your daddy's truck. For repairs on today's vehicles, you need AMCO Transmission and Total Car Care of Chattanooga on Lee Highway. Stay on the road, not in the garage. AMCO Transmission on Lee Highway. Get it done the right way. The Thompson Pet Way. Yeah, I just put that anywhere.
Hey, dude, check this out. Have you ever seen one so big?
Whoa, look at the size of that.
This little itty bitty one.
Wow, that's really small.
They have them big, small, and everything in between. You'll always find the biggest variety of knives at the knife shop at Frost Cutlery in Ottawa. We're talking about over 40 brands of knives, including Benchmade, WR Case & Sons, Booker, and all the Frost Cutlery brands. Now, Sam, you've been to the cutlery shop. Is it amazing?
Spectacular. The knife shop at Frost Cutlery in Ottawa. They have knives, swords, kitchen knives, ammo, and reloading supplies, plus survival gear.
It's the knife shop at Frost Cutlery, open 7 days a week. Hey, girls, you're going to love this. We're going to the knife shop.
Hey, let's not tell them they have ammo and loading supplies.
The knife shop at Frost Cutlery, open 7 days a week. You'll always find the biggest variety of knives. You're going to love the knife shop at Frost Cutlery in Ottawa. The knife shop.
And tell them David Toulis sent you.
Do you hear that? That, my friend, is not what you're thinking. That is the new 2018 Indian Chieftain Dark Horse. Yeah, Indian. Indian motorcycle is more than a bike. It's an experience, an American icon. And Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga is the only place you'll find their new 2018 line. Are you ready to ride? Join the club. Go to Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga. Just look for the sign, 153 and Amicola. Indian Motorcycle, the true American original.
Hey, Karen, you need me for that 1 o'clock?
Yes, cheese, please. Karen, did you get the quarterlies done? Yep, they're filed in the cabinet.
Karen, can you describe the initiatives to the new hire? Thanks.
Oh, sure. Full-bodied, some floral notes, maybe a hint of dark chocolate.
Am I in the right department?
Got wine on the mind? Come unwind at Virgola. Italian wine, oysters, caviar, cheeses, and more. Perfect after work or a romantic date night. Virgola Italian Wine Bar, 608 Georgia Avenue.
Chattanooga Paint and Decorating would like to remind you it's so hot out there. And guess what? Your deck is taking a beating. It's probably starting to show wear. If you're hosting Friends for the 4th, get your deck entertainment ready with a fresh coat of stain and protect it from heat, sun, and rain with a quality sealant. If you want to get to work, Chattanooga Paint and Decorating want to help you. For exterior paint, stains, sealants, and supplies, stop by Chattanooga Paint and Decorating today on Hicks and Pike across from Valvoline or online at chattanoogapaint.com.
Nooga Radio. Are you brain dead? Still voting for pathetic liberals? Take 3 hours of Sean Hannity from 3 to 6.
Nooga Radio.
Then call us in the morning between 9 and 11.
92.7
Nooga Radio.
Okay, well, thank you all for listening on this wonderful Saturday morning.
Especially Mary out there checking in on Facebook.
Yeah. That was an abrupt end to the bumper.
Yes. Unlike the door.
Unlike the door, which finally closed.
Yeah.
Maybe those could actually trade places. That would be better. That'd be a lot less awkward.
The door slowly
if the door could quickly close and the music could slowly end, that would make sense.
Well, I'll have to talk to the production manager on that one.
Okay, we'll see if he ever gets back to you on that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to take a guess. As I said, probably no.
Well, I'll see. His answer will be as slow as the door. Chuck. Yeah,
I figured.
Yeah.
Oh,
that being Russell, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't forget to join Nooga Radio 92.7 FM next Saturday and next Sunday, downtown Chattanooga, with the 36th annual Chattanooga Waterfront Triathlon. We're going to be broadcasting there with the expo on Saturday, and then Sunday, I will be out and about around downtown Chattanooga and out Amnicola Highway. That's going to be the scary part. Amnicola Highway. Have you? Well, I'm sure
you're going to be riding down Amnicola Highway on a bicycle.
Yeah.
Oh God.
That's a part of the course.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, are they closing off Amnicola? Or what?
Probably at least 1 or 2 lanes, I would imagine.
I would say they'd probably close down the whole road.
You'd probably have to.
Yeah. Because they're starting out below Ross's Landing on the swimming part, and then they're going down to Amnicola at some point where you can get out of the river, and then jump on the bike, and then bike whatever. The course is pretty lengthy, and then it's a running part the rest of the way, at least what I've gathered.
Okay.
So Wednesday night, Jenny Burrs will be in here in the studio, and we'll be talking about that. She's with the Chattanooga Track Club, the overall sponsor of this event. It's one of their big triathlons. They have 14 of them that they have here in Chattanooga.
14 triathlons.
Yeah, in a year.
That's a lot.
There's 30 triathlons altogether in Chattanooga during the year. I was like, really? I mean, I was like shocked. I didn't think there would be that many, but
I wonder how many people are repeat participants in that. Because people who run in triathlons,
that's a major.
I give you my highest praise. I think you're nuts. I ran in a 5K once, and that is a supposedly fun thing I will never do again.
Why?
Just, it's a 5K. I got home, I was sore. I was tired. I took a nap.
You didn't prepare properly.
Probably not, but like
if I was your age, and Keon's what, 26?
28.
28? I keep getting you younger and yet.
No, I'll take it.
Even if I was still at your age at 28, I would try to participate in 5K events or 10K events. I mean, I enjoyed running when I was a lot thinner. When I was 185 or less, I could kick it pretty good.
I ran a little bit in high school. I made cross country, but that is kind of like part of the sad story of me trying out for every single team in high school. And that is
you want to be a part of something.
I managed to make.
That's why you keep coming back here, to be a part of something, right?
Right. And also for the laughs.
Yes. I'm the butt of 4 commercials on this radio station. The butt of this guy's tirade at times when he's not thinking about the H word.
Oh, you did it. You can't.
You can't.
That's why I said the H word.
But the H word is
the H engine. You can't fire it up willy-nilly. You're just being hungry here.
That's the H.
I'm happy to spend the last 15 minutes of this show completely complaining about Jimmy Haslam, but that's just not good radio.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it might. Well, I don't know. Some people might enjoy it. Tennessee fans probably would, but let's just say, I will say this though. As in here we have the World Cup on. Keon and I were talking a little bit in one of the breaks when you'd disappear.
Yeah.
About the game last night.
Yeah.
Between Portugal and Spain.
They won?
No, it was a tie.
Tie.
Draw. Excuse me.
Yes.
Excuse me. It's soccer.
I say tie. Look, this is America. When the score is even at the end of a game, we call that a tie in this country.
Okay.
I also don't say nil. I refuse. That's not how we say zero in this country.
What do you say when? What do you call those? What do you call those games though that USA beat Mexico?
What do you mean?
2-0. What? It's 2-0. Yeah, the twice.
Well, fair enough.
Americans even call it that because they just like to make fun of Mexico, I guess. Anyway,
no, that's actually
who doesn't? Look at Trump.
That's a good point.
I'm not saying nil, and I'm not saying draw. I refuse.
What about Dobby? Are you going to say Dobby?
I don't even know what that means.
The Dobby.
Me either.
It's a Dobby, and
is that the thing you use in bingo to numbers? Oh, that's a dauber.
A derby, which is spelled Derby, D-E-R-B-Y.
Of course.
In England, a derby, like the Man U and the Man City game, is a derby because it's a cross-city rival.
No, I'm not saying that either.
But it's a derby.
First off, we don't really have that here.
Well, that's a good point.
Is that an Australian
soccer
thing?
Teams?
No, it's English.
No.
Like, is that what we call that when the Jets play the Giants? Like, no.
Yeah, it's the New York Derby.
No, that doesn't feel right.
No.
It feels gross and weird.
No.
Like all things that the English describe. No, thank you.
I mean, I do like.
No, thanks.
Would that be like the Chattanooga Eagles and the Tennessee Cobras? Would that be?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would be
It technically would.
It would be a derby, but it's not soccer, so
yeah.
But I like the idea, of some of these things that's so different in soccer than it is in any other sport. Just because it's so international, it has pieces from every country, except the United States, because everybody hates us when it comes to sports. So, and most other things.
Well, even then, we have some players over there that play.
But they don't like them because they're American and they don't think we know how to football.
Well, that's that kid Pusilich.
Yeah,
they like him.
We got some good young talent. The problem is we don't have a coach.
Yeah, well, that's going to be the eternal problem that we had. I mean,
you talk about. Why would we rehire Bruce Arena?
The
nobody else out there. It's any better.
Jurgen Klinsmann, Bob Bradley.
Jurgen Klinsmann was the worst hire. When they hired Jurgen Klinsmann, that was like epic facepalm.
Well, the thing is, when they hired Jurgen Klinsmann, it was like, oh, here's a guy that's not from here. Surely he knows more about soccer than any of us.
That's exactly what it was.
Just kidding.
No, just kidding. He actually knows nothing, and there's a reason why he was rejected out of his own country.
Oh, man.
Rejected, huh?
Yeah, well, you do see him on the German staff.
Because it worked for the women's team. Like, the women were able to get a coach.
Now,
I forget her last name.
Well, to be fair, our female athletes are so far and above better than anywhere else in the world, female athletes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what sport. I mean, I'll give our female athletes credit all the time because of how amazing they are at every sport they compete in.
Yeah. They completely dominate. Yeah.
I mean,
completely dominate.
Soccer, we're unbelievable. Basketball, obviously, that's an American sport.
That's an American sport, but they win by an even larger margin than the men do. Have you seen it? I mean,
yeah, it's impressive. Now, to be fair, the men's game in basketball has grown so much more than the women's game has internationally.
It's still growing for the women, but I mean, it is unbelievable. I mean, when you look at it, though, it's like we really ought to win. You got Diana Taurasi and Angel McCautry and like all of these people that go down there, and it's just.
But you say that, but we're like that in every sport. That's the thing that makes it so amazing at what the United States is able to do in every sport, is that we're competitive in almost any sport internationally except for soccer.
It's one of the perks of, and even then, it's like we make the World Cup fairly consistently. Where most
you should, as the United States, you should make the World Cup every time. That's why this.
Part of me doesn't really think so, just because. Sure, we have 320 million people, so that's a big advantage there. But our 320 million people like baseball and basketball and football, and there's so many different things that you can play. Yeah, it's just
that was going to kind of be the
soccer
point.
Gets what's left.
That was kind of the point I was going to make. Great like segue into that. That the United States we're able to compete at such a high level internationally at every single sport.
Mm-hmm.
That no other country in the world is able to do that. Like, what other country in the world is literally able to compete at every sport internationally?
I really can't think of any.
Because I'm trying to think, like, if you look at like Russia, you look at like people in the Olympics who lead your medal count.
Russia's very competitive. China's very competitive. They have large populations.
But Russia,
too.
if you look at summer sports, Russia can't do anything. The only reason they make the World Cup is why? Because they host
it. Yeah.
So hey, at least in 2026 we're gonna be in the World Cup.
We're gonna do that, and also the 2020 Olympics, in which baseball debuts as an Olympic sport. Again, we are going to steamroll everybody.
But I will find a way to blow that.
We will, and Japan's really good.
And so are some.
They're gonna have Ohtani.
Yeah, he's gonna pitch and hit.
Korea will.
Korea will be good. The Dominican Republic's always good.
Yeah, they're always good.
That'll be their one set of athletes they have. It'll be their baseball team.
What about the Jamaican bobsled team?
I love how our topics went completely to like international sports, but it is. I mean, this is to everybody else in the world. This is the biggest event every 4 years. In the United States, we're like, oh, soccer's on.
Well, if we make it, we care a lot. Here's like,
do we though?
We do. I mean, because I remember, I have friends that they don't watch soccer. They don't watch soccer ever.
You have
the U.S.
friends?
makes the World Cup. I know, right? I mean, all two of them, unfortunately. But
Russell and maybe M.
But no, really, like, and they get really into it. And I think part of it is not that America loves soccer all of a sudden. It's that America likes winning.
No, America loves America.
And here's the thing. They love America, but they like the idea that America can dominate another thing.
Do you think that the World Cup takes more of a command stage presence than the Olympics?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Really?
World Cup,
because
international, everywhere but here, I think.
The Olympics include a bunch of games and events that nobody watches.
And nobody knows anything about. Like, if I'm going to sit here and tell you I understand curling, I'm going to lie to you. Like, I watch it.
Curling is oddly satisfying to watch.
Yeah.
But, like, you still have those like, the snow run, the one where they have those shoes.
Yeah.
And like, I don't understand the point of that at all. It's not quite skiing, but it's not running. What are you doing? What is the point of what you're doing? And then you have like stuff like shooting, which
a decathlon
is fun when you go to a firing range and shoot, but it's not fun to watch shooting on TV. It's an unwatchable event.
Well, it's like my son that just graduated high school here last Saturday. He was a part of the Corey Trap Club up there, which is basically skeet shooting and everything. And it's like he said to me one day when I was still living in PA, he says, "Dad, why don't you broadcast our trap shoots and everything?" That's like, nope, no.
Look,
again, we paint the picture, but man, the ink or the oil would be just dribbling down.
Let's put it this way. You don't have that many colors to choose from when you're describing trap shooting events. Like, it's just what the nature of what it is. Some things are just not meant to be broadcast.
Right. Okay. And the thing with the Olympics too. My favorite part of the Olympics is the pageantry. I could care
learning service.
Yeah. Like I could.
All I watched from this last Olympics. Right? I watched it and the snowboarding.
I couldn't. I do watch quite a bit of like luge. I do like luge.
Again, I don't understand what I'm watching.
I don't either, but I like watching things go fast. So I'll watch luge. I also like speed skating because I like watching them when they fall because I think that's great.
Yeah.
When they like slip and they lose edge on their skate and they just and then knock everybody out.
Right. But there's some sports you have no idea what it is that you're looking at. Like in the Summer Olympics, we have gymnastics.
Oh yeah. They're like, oh, that was beautiful. I'm like, oh, was it really? I don't really know what just happened.
There's every now and then, like Simone Biles to me is an example because like Simone Biles is one of those athletes.
Just freak athletes.
She did it. First off, she did a move that she made up. No one else can do it but her. It's like a triple twist in the air. You look at her and you go, okay, that person's special. Like I can tell she's not like everybody else. But very rarely does that happen. I don't know what I'm looking at.
When I would turn on the Olympics, because I always would have the Olympics on when it's on. Like if my TV's on, it's on the Olympics during Olympic time, whether I'm actually actively paying attention or not. For instance, figure skating, which I think is one of the most just unbelievable sports because what they're able to do while skating and on ice and how athletic they are, but also how graceful. But to sit here and tell me when they're like, "Oh my gosh, what a great," and I'm like, I don't know what that person just jumped and spun in the air. Like, what?
Yeah,
like, I don't understand what's going on, but it looks really cool.
The announcer said it was a triple axel, so I guess it was a triple axel. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's why I think it's different with the World Cup. Everybody in the world, minus most people in this country, know this game.
Know the game.
Right.
Play the game.
Right.
It's a cheap game to play. All you need's a ball. Like, it ain't hard.
Yeah.
You know, maybe
gloves and a good pair of cleats.
You don't even need boots.
You don't.
For a goalie.
I mean,
like if you really because so my dad is from Guyana in South America. We're like just north of Brazil.
Yeah.
My dad didn't grow up. My dad grew up basically in the jungle.
Right.
They didn't have gloves. you just caught the ball. Like it's
You should have never said that because Mike will probably call in.
To say what?
About the jungle.
What about the jungle?
You know, Mike.
To sing the song "Welcome to the Jungle." I mean,
yeah.
No,
but I know. Believe it or not, back in my day when I was a kid, we had soccer in Arkansas, and I got to be pretty good at goalie.
Yeah.
But it's like soccer probably had been in existence now. When I say when I was a kid, I was born in '66. What the hell?
This commercial.
Okay, Geico.
It's this guy who's celebrating soccer, but he's just continually
so that he does the celebration where they run and slide on their knees, but he never stops.
He just keeps sliding around the whole pitch.
Oh man, glorious.
But anyway, I mean, so when I was about 8, I was playing soccer. So around early mid '70s, soccer actually was a pretty prominent sport in Arkansas. I mean, as far as for youth programs, not so much being played at the high school level. Probably not until when I did make it to high school, soccer was starting to be accepted as a scholastic sport. But soccer, I mean, has really been around for a long time here in the United States. I mean, it's just not popularity, though, I think, is picked up since Mia Hamm and the rest of the girls from the Olympics.
Part of the reason why our women's team is so good is that World Cup squad that won.
What was it? Was it the 06? Was it the 06 World Cup in Germany where the United States made a run to the whatever it would be called, the Elite Eight, where there was only 8 teams left? And was it that one or was it 2010? It was either 6 or 10. It was either 6 or 10, but that's when I thought, I was like, okay, this is where it starts. We've clearly made a run. Like, people are going to hop on board. No, didn't happen.
I think there's just going to be generational gaps to it as it picks up steam. You're gonna miss years where it's good.
But I do think you'll see, though, you are seeing the young talent from that experience.
Yeah,
from 2010 or whatever year it was.
Start to really come in here,
to come up,
because the team's really young, and like we talked about earlier, if there's a good coach for this group of guys, I mean, they really can do something special.
You're telling me that in all these U.S. Olympic style programs that we run, we can't find one guy that understands the game of soccer? One person.
Well, it's not. It's that you. Oh man, he's our guy. No, but
nice.
It's not that we can't find one person that understands the game. It's that the way Americans coach soccer is so much more defensive than what the rest of the world does, and we still don't really have a counter for what they do offensively. We have to find a way to make it so that we are able to score points the way Germany can score, Spain can score, France can score, Japan can score.
I know we're on time, but how, with all these freak athletes we have in this country, how in the world are we not using our speed to our advantage in this? That's what you're right. I mean, we sit back in these defensive formations, and it is the most sinfully boring soccer to watch.
And then we rely on set pieces to try and score.
We're not good at those. Use your speed. Use your athleticism.
Yeah,
that's where you win.
You might give up points, but I mean, look at nations like Brazil. They attack constantly. They never met a defensive formation they actually enjoy playing.
Argentina right now with Messi and Aguero, I mean, they're constantly on the attack. And the way that these teams, the reason Iceland scored a goal was because it was a counter.
Right.
It was a counter.
And that's why the U.S. does that too, but it's all counters. Like, don't just sit there and counter.
No.
Pass the ball well. Try and get ahead of it.
Hold possession. Use your speed on the outside to be able to get those looks you want with some crosses into the box and things like that. Use your athleticism, and they just don't do it. And that's what's frustrating. That's why you sit there and you watch American soccer and you want to pull your hair out.
Chattanooga Eagles on tonight, 7 o'clock airtime as we get ready to wrap things up here with the Breakfast Blitz. And Nick Leffew, this gentleman here, and then Keon Rose in the back, and myself, Sam Jordan, will be on the broadcast with you tonight. And we hope that you tune in. If you can't make it again, we really want to pack the stadium over at Ridgeline High School. Let's come out, support your Chattanooga Eagles. Let's beat the Bulldogs. Have a great weekend. Happy Father's Day. See you later.
Traffic, news, and information. Nougat Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM. 3, 2, 1. Chattanooga Nougat Radio.